Okay, this got my attention.
I want some nasty. Are we having fun yet?
All right, so this was sent to me on Twitter by Nicholas. So shout out to you, Nicholas. I really appreciate it. So I'm gonna watch this. I saw this floating around on YouTube, but I just never clicked on it. But after Nicholas sent it to me in the DMs on Twitter, I got on that. So if you guys ever want to like give me any suggestions, anything you want me to talk about, you could easily just go to Twitter and send me a message and I'll get on that, or become a patron or YouTube member. And I often ask YouTube or Patreon members if there's anything you guys want me to cover. So just some options there, just letting you know. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this. Before we do though, clanthemerchfan.com, link in the description. If you guys want to support the channel, please do. Yeah, you just click clanthemerchfan.com, get yourself some merch, man. Also, if for some reason there's not a size that you need, like you say, hey, I need a 4X, 5X, because I only go up to 3X right now. So if there's a bigger size that you need, all you have to do is just email me right here, clanthespursfan at gmail.com. I'll get back with you and we can figure something out. So if there's any type of custom order that you want, like a different color or anything in particular, just send me a email and we'll see what we can do. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this. So we don't talk about Kawhi a lot. We talk about Kawhi enough. But let's go through this. So let's see. Let's speed this up just a little bit because this is a pretty lengthy video. Not super lengthy, and we'll see what they have to say. So this is called, let me turn the music off. Kawhi Leonard's beef with the Spurs was the feud nobody expected. Oh wait, part one. This is part one of a bigger thing. Okay, well let's see what's going on.
How much Kawhi Leonard fit the San Antonio.
Wait.
It's incredible how much Kawhi Leonard fit the San Antonio Spurs ethos. A reclusive team-first superstar who rarely showed emotions and only cared about hooping. San Antonio is a model franchise that's often been called bland, boring, or as I like to say, sauceless. But whatever you want to call them, their success on the court has spoken volumes.
Never.
On paper.
By the way, never understood that. Never understood why we were considered boring. I never got it, okay? I mean, I got into the San Antonio Spurs as a kid, right? So like, I don't know, that brand of basketball was maybe not even as fun as the 2014 Spurs, and I thought it was really great basketball. I thought it was fun to watch, but so I never understood the boring basketball thing.
Kawhi and the Spurs were a match made in heaven who appeared to be locked in with each other until the end of time. Except, the relationship that seemed to be unbreakable from the outside ultimately deteriorated behind the scenes, resulting in a messy divorce.
Okay, maybe this is a little too fast.
Kawhi played his last meaningful minutes as a Spur against the Golden State Warriors during the 2017 Western Conference Finals. The events that unfolded afterward altered not only the course of a franchise, but the entire NBA. I hope you're hungry, because what followed that was a giant serving of beef.
Interesting.
On May 11th, 2017, the Spurs showed no signs of slowing down as a franchise. After handing out an absolute ass-whooping to the Houston Rockets in Game 6 of the Western Conference semifinals, the Spurs were riding the high of making their 5th conference finals appearance in 10 seasons. Kawhi was the head honcho for this team since Tim Duncan retired in 2016, and as the new leader, he led San Antonio through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs to set up a showdown with the mighty Golden State Warriors.
And in that game, he was absolutely destroying the Golden State Warriors. I'm actually like I'm really saddened by this, man, because I'll be honest with you guys, 2017, I was calling Kawhi Leonard a mixture between Michael Jordan and Tim Duncan as far as demeanor. Like, I was really disappointed that this went the way it did. I was the biggest on Kawhi Leonard, man. I protected every single time someone talked trash about Kawhi, I snapped back.
The Spurs unfortunately entered the series banged up. Star point guard Tony Parker suffered a season-ending quad injury in the semifinals, and Kawhi tweaked his ankle in that same series, even missing the clinching game. But despite the injuries, journalists agreed the Spurs had some chance of knocking off the heavily favored Warriors, mainly thanks to Kawhi. And when Game 1 tipped off, Kawhi came out cooking. He knocked down the night's first basket with a smooth pull-up. Later in the quarter, after snagging
he was about to murder, dog.
a wild pass from Steph Curry, Kawhi drove the lane and yammed with ease.
Oof.
His ankle appeared to be holding up just fine. Over the next 2 quarters, Kawhi and the Spurs were at the Warriors' neck, running up the score on their home floor. Kawhi hit a corner 3 over the outstretched arms of Kevin Durant, putting San Antonio up 18 with a little under 10 to play in the third.
He was so filthy, man.
But when Kawhi tried to make his way up the court, he rolled his already injured ankle and immediately hit the floor in pain. Kawhi sat on the bench for a few minutes, re-entered the game, trying to extend the Spurs' commanding.
This dirty. Anyone that says this wasn't dirty, you're so full of it, dude. This was so dirty. But there's 2 things to this, okay? There's 2 things that I hear all the time with the San Antonio Spurs fans, that is. Number 1, Pachulia's dirty, which I do agree with. But then the second thing that goes after that is, if he never did that, Kawhi would still be here. False. I do not believe that whatsoever. There was way more to his injury than just his ankles. It was a lot of other stuff that next season. I believe, me personally, I believe the way that his family had an influence on him, he would have been out anyways. I don't think that this changed a thing. Nor do I think that if we would have went on and won the championship this season, that would have changed his mind. I mean, he went to Toronto, won, and still left. So I don't think it mattered. And he already won one with us, so he knew it was possible to win another. So no, I don't believe that. I think his family getting involved was probably going to happen, and it was inevitable.
Lead and then went down again. This time after twisting his ankle under the foot of Warriors center Zaza Pachulia. After a sensational performance, Kawhi wouldn't return to the game.
Dirty, man. I hate that. I don't hate a lot of people that I don't know, but I hate Zaza Pachulia. Like, I genuinely hate him. I think stuff like this that he did is just disgusting. I think he's a disgusting player. I hate him. Sorry. Got a little too upset.
Exit with a little under 8 minutes to play in the third, the Warriors immediately went on an 18-0 run over the next 3.5 minutes, en route to wiping out San Antonio's 23-point lead to win Game 1, the first of a 4-game sweep. As easy as the Warriors made it look, for nearly 3 quarters, Kawhi and the Spurs had the Warriors in a chokehold and were on the verge of snatching a pivotal Game 1, which could have drastically altered the final outcome. Looking ahead to next season, it felt safe to assume that with a healthy Kawhi, San Antonio would be right back in the mix. The thing about assumptions, though, you kinda make an ass out of yourself because not a single soul could have predicted what transpired during the 2017-18 season. But to truly appreciate the tenderness of this beef, you have to understand that it's arguably the most improbable feud that occurred in NBA history. The San Antonio Spurs are undoubtedly one of the best operated professional sports franchises. Over the span of nearly 20 years, San Antonio set the standard for success on the court and exemplified a unique class off of it, where it had the opportunity to spiral out of control. That
drama, you can watch the video.
Preceded the 2011 NBA draft, which among its class included the extremely conflict-free Leonard. After 2 seasons at San Diego State University, Kawhi entered the 2011 draft as a potential top 10 pick.
He might be a Michael Jordan type player? Oh, wow. So my comparisons weren't that bad. People were already making those comparisons.
At SDSU, Kawhi excelled defensively, using his terrific length and quickness to terrorize opponents while playing every possession like it was his last. Offensively, though, Kawhi had a streaky jumper, and scouts feared that he didn't have any
we fixed it.
Odds of Kawhi falling to the Spurs seemed like a long shot, but San Antonio took a gamble and did something extremely unusual for them. As Kawhi unexpectedly fell down the board, the Spurs swung a deal with the Indiana Pacers and drafted Kawhi 15.
We're so smart.
Fully confident in Kawhi's ability. Knew anything about Kawhi personally?
This is what Pop had to say. He's not a shooter. He's not a scorer. He's not a perimeter player. He's a big guy who can rebound. Wait, are we talking about somebody else? Who are we talking about?
Fully confident in Kawhi's abilities. Although Pop didn't necessarily remember it that way. The front office acted hesitant in trading Hill, and Pop was scared shitless because he agreed with nearly every criticism that scouts had of Kawhi's skill set. It also didn't calm San Antonio's fears that the team hardly knew anything about Kawhi personally. It wasn't a lack of effort in getting to know him. Kawhi was just an introvert who hardly ever talked. The franchise had to make sense of his character based on stories like Kawhi breaking his own lamps to early morning workout sessions. So they at least knew the dude was a hard worker, and ultimately—
What? He was a worker who took his own lamps at 6:30 a.m. sessions at San Diego State's arena when the lights were off? What? I mean, I knew he was a gym rat, but are you serious? Good God, man. That's incredible.
Based on
Another thing about Kawhi that I thought was pretty cool was like after we won the championship, you know, each player got like their time with the trophy. I think his time with the trophy, he like left it in an empty apartment or something so he could practice. Like I thought that was so cool. I was like, this dude's something serious. I really thought he was gonna be the next like Jordan type.
stories like Kawhi breaking his own lamps to early morning workout sessions.
It's insane.
So they at least knew the dude was a hard worker. And ultimately, Kawhi's relentless dedication to working on his game drove him to the Spurs by pure happenstance. During the NBA Draft Combine, most top prospects are encouraged not to participate in drills, but that's simply not in Kawhi's nature. After hanging out and watching other players put their talent on display, Kawhi decided enough was enough and got some shots up himself. After 10 minutes of work, Kawhi got tossed from the court, but that small window of time was enough to convince Spurs shooting coach Chip England that the team needed to have him. England had gained the reputation as the shot doctor around the league and noted Kawhi had good form, but his mechanics weren't sharp. He worked on altering Leonard's release point, hoping to reconstruct his jump shot. While England believed Kawhi could dramatically improve his offensive game with some retooling, Pop thought Kawhi had the potential to be a top defender in the league and pushed him to be Bruce Bowen times 10. It's a tough ask to emulate the defensive output of the former Spurs icon, but Kawhi quickly proved to be among the NBA's elite and met Pop's challenge by earning back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year honors in 2015 and 2016. Pop saw Kawhi's potential early on and believed after his rookie season he could one day become the face of the franchise.
Man, this is making me sad. Why are we watching this? Why are we watching this?
While Kawhi had shown signs of possibly beating his coach's prophecy, he didn't view himself in the same light. After a stellar defensive performance during the 2013 NBA Finals, Kawhi was reminded of his coach's praise, but he only saw himself as a role player. It was a typical Spursian response, sacrificing self-glory for team success, but Kawhi understood the team belonged to the Big Three and he played off of them.
What happened? What happened? What happened? I'm starting to have flashbacks. Why did this happen? Why is Uncle Dennis a thing? Why did this happen? He was phenomenal. He called himself a role player. We haven't so much humility, bro.
By 2015, though, that was no longer the case. Beyond being a matchup nightmare for anyone going at him, over the years, Kawhi slowly but surely developed into the offensive threat that England believed he could be. Kawhi's once inconsistent jumper was no longer a weakness, as he saw immense improvement in his shooting percentages, especially from three. He became a true focal point of the offense, with Pop transferring plays to Kawhi that had long been saved for Manu.
I can't take this. How many more minutes? Oh my God. Oh my God, we still got 7 minutes. I can't do this.
More importantly, with a well-rounded offensive arsenal, Kawhi had the ability to absorb the duties and take pressure off the Spurs' mighty trio, extending the success of the franchise. Something he proved on the grandest stage during the 2014 NBA Finals, leading the team in scoring over the last 3 games, earning him Finals MVP. Kawhi helped rejuvenate the Spurs, and Buford applauded him for changing the course of the organization as they continued their path towards dynasty status.
You were the chosen one. Dude, we would have had at least 2 more championships. We would have been back on top. We would have still, like, the dynasty wouldn't have ended. It just would have continued. Oh, so many steps back. We became a mediocre team, and now we're just like, I don't know where we are. We're back at square one. Trying to find our next Kawhi. This is sad.
He didn't play for recognition and instead focused on being the best player he could possibly be, striving to someday.
Look at this. What happened to Kawhi? I'm just trying to be the best player I can be. I'm just trying to pass Tim Duncan in championships. If I could only one, I can't. That's my motivation. That's what I strive. What happened? This is so sad. I can't deal with this.
He rack up more rings than Timmy. More than Kawhi's obvious
Oh
talent,
my
his approach to
God.
the game fully matched the org's mindset. And as the Big Three started to age, San Antonio inked Kawhi to a 5-year max contract in 2015, signaling he would usher in the new era of San Antonio basketball. If there were ever to be an heir to take over Timmy's throne, Kawhi had proven to be the perfect candidate, and by the spring of 2017 had all but cemented his place. Except, it's quite difficult to be a leader of a team when you're hardly with them. During the spring of 2017, San Antonio saw their hopes of competing for a...
All right, this is about to remind me on why Kawhi is gone, okay? All of those feelings of animosity and anger that I had at this time, in this time period. The reason why I actually got on YouTube to begin with and talk Spurs, this is the moment. Okay. All right. Okay.
Sixth NBA title disappeared when Kawhi injured his ankle against the Warriors. But heading into the 2017-18 season, Kawhi's ankle became the least of the franchise's concerns. Like most teams, San Antonio held an inter-squad scrimmage before the start of the preseason, and to the surprise of everyone in attendance, Kawhi wasn't present. The team announced Kawhi had been continuing a rehab program, but for something other than the injury we knew about. It was shocking news, but Pop calmed the fears of San Antonio fans and said the issue had been something that lingered from last year and
it's just last year, working on things from last year. It's going a little more slowly than we thought. No, the ankle's fine. Okay, yeah, I remember this.
Wasn't connected to his ankle injury. Pop didn't want to put a timetable on Kawhi's return, but said there was a good chance he would miss preseason action. Missed preseason games eventually developed into Kawhi essentially being a no-show all season, causing teammates to question his dedication, including veteran leaders Ginobili and Parker.
Yeah, they had a whole team meeting.
Into Kawhi essentially being a no-show all season, causing teammates to question his dedication.
Sources: Spurs held players only meeting to implore Kawhi Leonard to return. I could be wrong, but wasn't Tony Parker the most vocal one? Tony Parker's a true leader, by the way, and I think he was the most vocal one in that situation. I don't know how much Danny Green said, but yeah.
Including veteran leaders Ginobili and Parker. Manu grew tired of fielding questions regarding Kawhi's status about when he would ever rejoin the team. Parker was confused as to why Kawhi refused to suit up during
By the way, hold on. This was taken fully out of context. If you go back and watch it, it wasn't that bad. It just sounds bad. He's not coming back. For me, he's not coming back because it's not helping to think Leonard is returning. We fell for it a week ago again. Yeah, this sounds really bad, but his tone... Ginobili has a way of saying things and not making it sound terrible. So when I first heard it, I just thought, oh, there's not like some huge issues going on. You know, that Ginobili just, you know, he's just saying, you know, we need to focus on this team right now. And Kawhi, he needs some more time to get ready. And maybe Kawhi tried to get better, but he couldn't. Like, that's what I was thinking at that time. But yeah, obviously not. By the way, I think not too long after this quote, and this is just me like throwing this out there, I actually talked to somebody who was, and everyone cursed me out about this, okay? And everyone said that I was lying and I didn't know what I was talking about and blah, 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 blah. But I remember someone reached out to me and I confirmed who it was, and I won't say their name, but I confirmed who it was, and they were very close to the Spurs organization, and they gave me the entire spiel about what was going on. And I put it on Instagram because they said, hey, you can put it on there, just don't say who it's from. And yeah, everyone jumped on me. They were like, you don't know what you're talking about, blah, 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 blah. And it was like a month or a couple months later, it all came out and it was all true.
Manu grew tired of fielding questions regarding Kawhi's status about when he would ever rejoin the team. Parker was confused as to why Kawhi refused to suit up during the season, even though he suffered a similar injury to Kawhi, one that Parker thought was 100.
This one wasn't that bad either. I don't think so, the context of it. But yeah, Tony Parker was, he was a little frustrated.
Times worse. If you recall, during the Spurs 2017 postseason run, Parker suffered a serious quad injury that many believe could have potentially ended his career. But after months of rehabbing during the offseason, TP miraculously suited up for the Spurs in November 2017.
You know what the biggest... Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Just really quick. You know what the biggest issue I had with the Kawhi Leonard situation? Obviously, because he's trying to, like, get out. Him and his uncle, specifically his uncle, trying to get him out, right? That I really did have an issue with that. But maybe one of the biggest issues that I had was that he didn't even show up to like film sessions. That's what was bad. It wasn't just the fact that he was rehabbing and he couldn't play. He didn't even show up to film sessions. And what made me the most angry, I don't know if he'll cover it, but what made me the most angry with the whole Kawhi Leonard situation was, if you guys recall, Popovich's wife passed away, and I could have sworn, I was like, well, Kawhi would be there in the playoffs, you know, to support, because Pop still came and coached, I believe, or did he leave that game? or was he not there after? I don't recall. That doesn't matter though. All I know is Kawhi wasn't there. He did not come. I think I might have heard something where he did reach out eventually to Pop about it or something, but I was just saying like how it viewed me as a fan watching. That's what I saw. I was like, he's not there. Now before, like behind closed doors, maybe he did reach out and everything, and I'm not going to throw that on him. But as a fan, that's when I fell out of love. That's when I was pissed. I was like, you're not a leader. You're not even here for your team right now, and you're not here for your coach. That blew my mind. That's when I was absolutely done.
8 games before Kawhi clocked his first minutes of the season. Watching Parker compete after last being seen on the court in excruciating pain during the 2017 playoffs had to be a relief for Spurs fans, but it also brought into question Kawhi's odd timetable to return from the same injury. How Kawhi's quad issue went from a lingering injury from the previous season to him barely playing during the 2017-18 season is a convoluted story. 2 weeks after Pop said Kawhi would miss preseason games, San Antonio confirmed he would miss the season opener as well. Pop still wouldn't put a timetable on his return, but confirmed Kawhi had been rehabbing, and when he's ready, he'll be ready. Pop couldn't call it. So as you can imagine, it certainly didn't calm the nerves of Spurs fans when Kawhi got spotted a week later, struggling to board the plane for the team's first road trip of the season.
Oh, wait, no.
Seeing a limping Leonard...
I think he went to China, too, and I was like, what the heck was that about? He went to, like, China in the offseason, and I think the Spurs were like, what the heck? Why are you out there? Like, you're not here rehabbing?
Sparked a wave of confusion across the league, and even Pop himself was bewildered. In his 40 years of coaching, Pop said he'd never seen an issue like Kawhi's quad injury. For Pop, the injury was especially strange, seeing how Kawhi and Parker had the same injury, with Parker's being far worse. Pop's comments were a bit odd, seeing how he's usually extremely direct with the media, but he did reassure journalists that Kawhi would be back sooner rather than later when asked if there was a light at the end of the tunnel. A comment that Pop immediately walked back as soon as the words left his lips. In December 2017, though, after missing 27 games, Kawhi ended any confusion when he suited up for the first time. And he looked decent.
By the way, I'm just going to brag about it. I went to was this the last time I was in San Antonio? Okay, I went to San Antonio, and I actually got to catch one of Kawhi's last games with us. I believe it was against the Hornets, and I'm happy I caught it. I got lucky because he was gone for like a long period of time, and then I caught him right when he came back for a second.
He was obviously playing himself into shape, but after a month of play where he sat in back-to-back games, Kawhi put up solid numbers in a 9-game stretch that at least inspired confidence he could return to his dominant self when fully healthy. Except that didn't appear to be anytime soon. After a blowout win against the Denver Nuggets in January 2018, where Kawhi nearly dropped a double-dub, San Antonio ruled him out indefinitely due to recurring trouble with his quad. Buford thought Kawhi had made great progress and believed the best approach would be for him to continue rehabbing. Pop voiced his concerns that the injury hadn't responded the way the team wanted, but understood Kawhi had been working hard to get back, and although he didn't re-injure the quad, sitting him for a while would be the right move health-wise. Pop didn't think it would end Kawhi's season, but shutting him down was a collaborative effort with input from Kawhi himself. From my understanding, a collaborative effort is when 2 or more parties come together in order to successfully achieve a goal, but it appeared that Kawhi and the Spurs were nowhere near being on the same page.
No, Kawhi Leonard did his own thing. The San Antonio Spurs talked about what type of injury he had and how bad it could get, and they wanted to get a hold of it, but Kawhi and his people went and did their own thing, and it was awful. And as you can see, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but as you can see, even to this day, I think that it was a bad decision from Kawhi Leonard, because other teams, I don't think that they treated Kawhi with the delicacy as the Spurs were willing to treat him. I mean, the Spurs will literally let you sit out all season long. Now it's to a point with the Clippers, they really have no choice. Like, he just can't play right now. But when he was with Toronto Raptors, they played him pretty. They played him pretty hard all the way through the playoffs at least, which is understandable. But at the same time, I think just me personally, I could be completely wrong, guys, but like jumping from doctor to doctor or from team to team, that can't be good with a type of injury or type of condition that Kawhi has. I felt like the Spurs were going to get on it pretty nicely, but he just went and did his own thing. So I don't know.
A few days after being ruled out indefinitely, ESPN, seemingly out of nowhere, reported there had been a growing rift between Kawhi and the Spurs over the handling of his quad injury. It's really no surprise a player of Leonard's caliber would be frustrated by an injury derailing his season, but it was absolutely stunning to hear the Spurs were involved in any type of team feud. San Antonio and Kawhi's camp denied the report, with both sides agreeing they've been locked in on finding the best solution for everyone involved. Given the Spurs' track record, given the little we knew about Kawhi, shit.
This is why you can't listen too much. There's just nothing true to that story.
Even the fact Kawhi's uncle was coming out to speak for him, it was easy to believe them all. No.
Oh, wait. Is that Uncle Dennis? Oh, that's Uncle Dennis. Oh, this is Uncle Dennis. All right, let's see what he had to say. There's nothing true to that story. Robertson, this is absolutely ridiculous that he's even talking for. Kawhi's camp and the Spurs are how they've always been, doing the right thing for the team and the right thing for Kawhi. Shut up.
No issue here. But over time, we clearly learned that was an attempt to save face. Otherwise, this would have never been a possibility. And just a little bit of drama went down to get us to that point.
Oh, is that it? Oh, hold on. I guess that's it. All right, so we're just waiting for part 2. So this is a really nice, this was a really nice video. I really like this. Was a secret base. Yeah, I'm subscribing to that. Thanks for showing me this, Nicholas. If you guys want to support them, please do. I guess just head on over to their channel. You can watch the whole thing yourself. That was really nice. I can't wait to watch part 2. But anyways, I'll give it to you guys later. You want to support the channel as always, man. ClanTheMergeFan.com, link in the description, or become a Patreon YouTube member. I'll give it to you guys later. Bye.